Hey guys, Dark Humility here. We have yet another closed beta season 8 build test, courtesy of Comatose in the chat, helping us out, figuring out the season 8 approach for this. We now have new approaches to elemental Xana builds. This is just one of them. We'll show off this one, but you can also do freezing arrow, cold arrow, and any of the other arrows with the same approach if you want to. One of the issues in previous seasons is that you needed attack speed and you needed run walk. So the way to get both of those things was to put a fanaticism bow on an Act 1 mercenary with vigor, and you could solve that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, the power of hustle in Season 8 is revealed. It's PD2's own take on the D2R hustle, which requires proccing versus speed, but in this case it's just granted to you automatically, cutting out the middleman, giving you some excellent attack speed off of the armor. Now you will have to sacrifice some stats off of the armor, something like this for instance, but it's pretty solid. So we're going to show you guys fire arrow actually, and show you guys how to run and gun like a boss. The only real weakness of this build is that you're always up out in front, and there's no way to get anything really in front of you to protect you from dying. You can get revives, you can even get more Valkyries, but what I'd recommend was some of the dodge and evade nerfs in this season. You might want to just like pound out these points. I think that's the best approach. It made sense. Chad definitely helped me out with this build because, you know, I was still kind of stuck in the Season 7 mindset. So what we're going to do today is we're going to level up your game and show you guys how to make an elemental boson in Season 8. What we got here is an Infinity. So yes, we're back to using Infinity on the Merc with Defiance, so it gives you some DR. Flickering Flame, of course, gives us resist fire. That will boost your fire damage a little bit. And Enchant as well, because why not? Also boost your fire damage. And it's just overall good. It'll boost your attack rating a bit as well. There's a few different options here. You could go like Hellmouth, High Lords, but Rising Sun, 220 bow gloves, or 320 bow gloves, very solid. Blood Raven's Charge, getting that 6 to fire arrow. This is definitely the highest damage approach. Phoenix can give you more sustain, lower damage, and you're going to need more attack speed elsewhere in your gear to execute. So you can also use Phoenix as well, which is right here. You can kind of see that Redemption Aura, which is very nice. But you're going to lose 3 skills. You're going to lose some of the percent fire damage. Definitely going to lose some stuff. Hustle is the key to running fast and gunning fast. So we're going to use that in the armor. Hero's Guardian cannot be frozen. Res. Really high negative enemy fire res and fire skill damage. Lots of fire facets, Rising Sun, fire skills, and enemy fire res. Very good. Some kind of 220 arrows. If you get like 220 with Pierce, you don't even really need Razor Tail, which could be nice. Of course, we can't corrupt though on the beta. I'm also lazy and just use Juves, so it might look like I'm just using an unsustainable amount of juice, but you could always run super healing pots just to keep your health up if you want. Got Wisp Projector though as well, and we got Stone of Jordan. Plus skill rings in general is probably going to be the play. Getting more sustain from like LPK, MPK would be nice. Fast run walk down here, bow GCs, fire LCs, also good. You can kind of go either one. You can go a combination of the two.
I can
it's pretty
already
solid.
tell that I'll be your best
You're gonna
friend
want
in
Annie
this
and Torch.
forsaken camp.
And what you're gonna do is you're gonna get enough points to wear your gear, and then I would just put the rest into vitality. You're gonna need the health, trust me. Definitely gonna need it. First time I tried this, I tried it with some energy. I was being greedy. Not a good idea. You will die. FHR is nice. Once again, no block. Getting that maximum attack speed. That's really what it's about here. And we're just barely hitting it with 90 attack speed and with hustle. Projectile Pierce Anywhere from like 95 to 100 is good, but you can have over 100. Doesn't really matter. And you're going to want to hit all that stuff. Pretty good. Getting some res. Not bad. Nothing else really matters too much. Gonna max out Immolation Arrow, Fire Arrow, and Magic Arrow. If you want Immolation Arrow to be even stronger, you can also max out Exploding Arrow. Immolation is much better versus single targets. You also go... So they nerfed Dodge and Evade. You see how many points I had to put in here to get the same effect we had before with like 10 points? Well, this is what it's come to. Valkyries trail behind you. Everything trails behind you. I put some points into Pierce, though, to get my Pierce closer to 100. So you're going to want that Pierce. You want the arrows to pierce through the monsters. We're going to show her off in probably her best map first, though. But as everyone knows, Blood Moon is not the only battle when it comes to a build being good. If it was, then people would have infinite Blood Moon maps and just run those. I think that's how it was one of the seasons, but not anymore. So this is about run and gun. Alright, run and gun. As you can see here, it's pretty good. Now one thing you can do is you can revive some cows or whatever you want using the Blood Raven's bow if you have it. You go down, back around. Good stuff. So all the elemental bow builds can work like this. You can also do cold arrow like this. You can also do freezing arrow like this. And freezing arrow is typically the strongest bow build. But I wanted to show one that wasn't the strongest one just to show you guys how you can do whatever you kind of want in Season 8 with an elemental bow build. Now this map is nice because there's no ranged enemies. Ranged enemies are not your best friend. You're out in front, got no shield. All you got is some dodge and some health in between you and getting wrecked. Because you want to go fast. Now, arguably, this build is teetering on OP. You know, you can see how fast we can clear mobs. It's pretty good. The only real limitation of this build, I would say, is the range on the build, which is not insanely high. Also, the mercenary is not always caught up to you, so you have to like wait for it so you don't always one-shot the monsters. I definitely wouldn't put this in the S tier myself, but I'd put it in the solid, really high end of strong and balanced. It does a ton of damage. And obviously, there's a lot you can do with it. An immolation arrow against the cow queen is very nice. Alright, gotta do some street sweeping here. Yeah, you can see immolation kills bosses insanely fast. Oh, we found Odyssean's Awakening, the new spear. That's great. Still a work in progress because, yeah, it needs to be a work in progress. I can't really think of any use for it at the moment. It might make it useful, though. What's up, Wing Chun? How you doing? There's an Odium. There you go. They got just crushing them cows. Really strong build. I would definitely say with Hustle, being able to use Infinity, this build has definitely gone up a third of a tier this season, though. It's definitely on the higher end of the builds now. Very solid stuff. No reason why you can't play this. This is very strong. What we're going to do now, though, is we're probably going to run... Let's see. This has fire immunes, right? Yeah, it does. Can we find one that doesn't? Well, Tomb of Zoltan Cool is always good, but there's a problem with Tomb of Zoltan Cool. That's that the monsters just are crazy strong. But there are some fire resistant monsters as well. Shell Co-Eld, man, doing some work. But as you can see though, this build is not for lightweights. This is a good build. You don't need a wisp projector on this build either. You can definitely get cheaper rings. BK ring would be work too. It's kind of just run and gun though. Very strong build. Very, very powerful. Very effective. And the ice builds arguably are even better. Particularly freezing arrow, as it always is. Pretty hard to make freezing arrow trash. It freezes everything. It pierces through everything. Does a billion damage. I could run corpse more, and I could. But then I lose my hustle though, and I think hustle's the way to go this season for sure. It's a new item. It solves the problems that the Xana had before, which is movement speed and attack speed, which previously was solved by an Act 1 mercenary. But now you can maintain your negative enemy res off the mercenary with this approach. Allowing us to crush Tomb of Zoltan cool. I think the dodge we have is pretty solid, but you really got to invest in it though. I think this is the only way this is gonna work. Anyway. Hopefully you guys enjoy this demo of the Elemental Xana for Season 8. You can do the same thing with any element. Run the Infinity on the Mercenary. Just run the appropriate damage types and facets in your gear. Obviously, with Cold, you'd go Nightwings and not Kira's. So you can kind of make a few pretty obvious adjustments, I would say, and then you'll be on your way to victory. Ice. Nightwings, full mavs even. What's the problem with full mavs though is you can't use hustle, so I guess hustle in some ways is making full mavs not as good as it used to be. So maybe it's not the best approach at all anymore. It's still strong though. Still great for late mid game. Anyway, GG guys. See you guys in the next installment. Let's crush it in Season 8.